Hello, BookTube. Well, as promised, I have a small shipment of new books to show you. I've got the shaky cam going here. I really need to come up with some sort of platform for this thing. But anyway, I thought we've got 3 here. I thought we'd maybe try and shoot for a video that's under 20 minutes. That would be great. So let's see what this first one is in the pretty blue envelope. What have we got here? Let's see. Although I had to chuckle over that last mail haul that we did, where it was two mail hauls ago, where I held up a book, The Invention of Anna, and I ended up liking it more than a lot of you seem to like it. So that's not how this is supposed to work. I'm supposed to be the critic of modern fiction, yet it intrigued me and rubbed some of you the wrong way. But like I mentioned in that video, I will report back, and we'll see. What have we got here? Oh, okay. All right, this is by Lexi Elliott, who grew up in Scotland at the foot of the Highlands, graduated from Oxford University, where she received a doctorate in theoretical physics. Yikes. Okay, so she's smarter than I am, or than any of you are. A keen sportswoman. She works in fund management in London. Good Lord, I want to read her autobiography, not her novel. Where she lives with her husband and 2 sons. The rest of her time, what rest of time? Is spent writing or thinking about writing and juggling family life and sport. That is our author, who has, look at how young she is, and yet she has a doctorate in theoretical physics, a husband, 2 sons, and is an avid sportswoman, plus a novel that I've got in my hand right now. Yikes. I suddenly feel like a lazy slug. So this is called The French Girl. What have we got here? They were 6 university students from Oxford, friends and sometimes more than friends, spending an idyllic week together in a French farmhouse. It was supposed to be the perfect summer getaway until they met Severin, the girl next door. Severine, maybe? For Kate Channing, Severin was an unwelcome presence, her inscrutable beauty undermining the close-knit group's loyalties amid the already simmering tensions. And after a huge altercation on the last night of the holiday, Kate knew nothing would ever be the same. There are some things you can't forgive, and there are some people you can't forget, like Severin, who was never seen again. Now, a decade later, the case is reopened when Severin's body is found in the well behind the farmhouse. Questioned along with her friends, Kate stands to lose everything she's worked so hard to achieve as suspicion mounts around her. Oh my. Oh my. So is this... One thing I didn't get in that stunning biography is whether or not this is a... Oh yeah, this is a debut novel. Oh, good for her. Wow. Okay. All right. So we've got that. Let's move on here. This next one. Oh, fantastic. Great. Okay. Let's see. This is due soon. Yes, this comes out in early February. This is Beautiful Days by Joyce Carol. It's a collection of short stories that I have already read, and it's amazing. Just amazing. I mean, it's all really good. They're all really good in here. I think there are, if I remember correctly, there aren't many stories in here. No, less than a dozen. And they're all really good, but there are 3. Boy, there are 3 that just, you read them and you realize, wow, okay. There are 3 stories where you read them and you remember, yes, Joyce Carol Oates, as opposed to some nobody. There's certain things that certain multi-layered achievements that you, unless you're a prodigy, you're not going to be able to do them without lots of experience. But I absolutely loved it. Beautiful Days as a collection of short stories. I absolutely loved it. If you like George, hang on a second. There we go. If you like George Carol Oates, you're going to want this anyway, of course. But if you like short stories, well worth your time. So, all right. So we're doing fiction here, and we'll do this last one, and we're only 4.5 minute mark. That's good. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, more fiction. All right. So this is all fiction this time around. This is by Paula McLean, who is the author of The Paris Wife, a novel that just appeared and then took off like a meteor. So that everybody was reading it, and the print run was just fantastic. And I firmly believe that a large part of the success of The Paris Wife was book clubs. I firmly believe that they spurred the book to that next rung of popularity. But one way or another, whether I'm wrong about that or not, The Paris Wife was a success as far as novels go. And this, is the next book by this author. And isn't this lovely? This is they've got this little band around it. Let's see if I can take this off without destroying anything. The book is called Love and Ruin, with an uncharacteristically very attractive American cover. I seem to remember The Paris Wife also had an attractive cover. So some of the graphic design section of Ballantine deserves a little pat on the back. What have we got here, though? I remember this intriguing me, but when it comes to the author of The Paris Wife, I would have requested this book anyway. It's to follow up to a major success. So let's see here. Okay, that seems to be a note from the author. That's kind of odd. Let's see if this is any better. Let's see here. Yes, okay. So The Paris Wife and Circling the Sun sold more than 2 million copies combined, and credited with reinvigorating the genre of historical fiction. Well, it certainly was a good example of historical fiction. I know about. Okay, so in this new book, Maclean returns to the timeless subject of Ernest Hemingway, this time through the prism of his stormy relationship with the incomparable Martha Gellhorn, a force of nature who carved her own way in a man's world. In Maclean's words, quote, Gellhorn was incandescent, a true original, with brass and vivacity and courage to spare. I was instantly under her spell, close quote, and completely true. Completely true. Martha Gellhorn is worth your time to make the acquaintance thereof. Her writing, find a good biography of her. This, if I remember correctly, would be the first extensive fictional treatment that I've ever read. She's popped up in novels that I've read about Hemingway, but not as the star. Let's see here. Over the course of her singular life, Gellhorn reported on virtually every major conflict of the 20th century. She sought out danger and had bullets whizzing by her and bombs going off on the border a minute away, just like the men. Came back and then wrote about it better than they did. This is all true so far. This is wonderful. But in 1936, 28 and untested and more than a little lost, she met her literary hero in a Key West bar and then followed him to war in Spain. In Madrid, Martha finds her voice as a correspondent, but also unexpectedly and uncontrollably falls in love with Hemingway, who is already well on his way to becoming literary legend. In the shadow of the impending Second World War, and set against the tumultuous backdrops of Madrid, Finland, China, and especially Cuba, where Martha and Ernest make their home, their relationship and professional career ignite. But when Ernest publishes the biggest literary success of his career, For Whom the Bell Tolls, it becomes painfully clear that they are no longer equals, and Martha is forced to make a choice: surrender to the confining demands of being a famous man's wife, or risk losing Ernest forever by forging a path as her own woman and a writer. This is the first novel based on the truly remarkable Gellhorn, an audacious and keenly independent woman who dedicated her life to telling the stories that those around her could not speak for themselves. Wow. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Well, I would have been, like I said, I would have been interested to read this anyway, but now I want to bump. Did I say when this came out? It comes out in May. And ordinarily, when I get a new novel, a new contemporary novel, even historical fiction, which I love, it's my favorite kind of fiction. Ordinarily, when I get a new novel, my thought is, well, put it on the pile. Put it on the pile. Wait, there's no hurry. You can read it closer to its release date. But here is perfect. This is a case where I want to read this now. It just seems like such a waste to read. It would be to read it now, when it doesn't come out until May. I'm certainly going to be reading it in April. So I don't know though. Maybe simple human curiosity. I will probably read this now. So we've got, all right, great. So we've got Love and Ruin, about Martha Gellhorn, a novel about Martha Gellhorn, and Beautiful Days in the Finnish copy by Joyce Carol Oates, collection of short stories, well worth your time, and The French Girl by Lexi Elliott, who has a doctorate in theoretical physics, is an avid sportswoman, a wife, and a mother. And this is her debut novel, so don't I feel lazy? Good for her, though. So there you go, all fiction, and yet I'm not grousing. So I'm going to wrap this up for now, and I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.